This is Middle Class Math from don'tbuythehype.blogspot.com, and I am Sports Genius. Marty Hurney was fired by the Panthers today. Now, for any educated Panther fan, this is not a surprise. Nobody said, "Oh, I never saw that coming." The only time they could say they never saw that coming was because Mr. Richardson seemed to be very loyal to this guy. He didn't really have a football background. He was a journalist. That doesn't mean anything, because I think I could be a GM, and I'm nothing but a journalist. But it does mean that he didn't have the usual credentials that a GM had. Now, before I get started on exactly what led to Marty Hurney's demise for the Panthers, I first have to say, Mr. Richardson, please hire me for the GM. I could come in right now and set the Panthers straight. First move, trade Cam Newton. Somebody would bite. I believe it. But that brings me to the point. One of the big reasons people are saying that that Marty Hurney was fired was because of the drafting of Cam Newton. He's not the traditional player. The Panthers usually bring in kind of straight-laced guys like Luke Kuechly. And Cam Newton's a much more flamboyant, emotional, superstar type personality. That's not really what the Panthers are usually known for. And they say that move and a 1-5 start may have cost Marty Hurney his job. He's made lots of other bad moves. Now, for every bad move, he makes a good move. He's about 50-50. There's some times where he's drafted some good players. But go back and look at his drafts, and you'll see not only does he miss it, but there'll be players drafted after the player the Panthers take at the same position who go on to have better careers. He just didn't seem to have the right people in place, or he didn't know himself how to evaluate talent. Middle Class Matt knows how to evaluate that talent. The team would look very different. I promise you this, Cam Newton would not be playing for a team if I was the GM of the Panthers. 100%. I would have taken probably Patrick Peterson. Maybe even traded down and taken Patrick Peterson. Return man, corner. Panthers need both. So, it's very interesting. Now, I want to give a little bit of a don't buy the hype. Now, I've been doing don't buy the hype on Cam Newton for a long time. Go back and look at my blog, even back when I was writing, before I did videos, talking about not Cam. I said the Cam pick would set the Panthers back 5 to 10 years. And I think because they're going to have to let him play, have to make sure he can't develop, because there is a chance he can develop. Cam's got all the physical tools, it's just the intangibles are bad. If this is Russell Wilson's intangibles, these are Cam's intangibles. Right off the thing. Russell Wilson right off the charts, Cam Newton right down in the cellar. So they may have to let him play out. And he still could develop. There's things in people's life that can turn a personality like Cam's, who has a loser personality. They can turn it around. Death in the family, religious experience, or a personal breakdown. So if he has any one of those three things, he could get it together and turn it around for the Panthers. But with his body language, things that I've been saying forever about Cam, everyone else is getting it. Now I want to point out two people that are on ESPN. Now ESPN pay big money. Cowherd always talks about how the big money he gets. I make hardly any money. Middle class. Middle class here making no money. And Cowherd said, I don't think Cam's like Jamarcus Russell. I don't think he's like those guys. He's a pocket passer. He can spin it. Now he's saying he's selling all his stock. Too late, Colin. You were saying for a year and a half how good he was. Now you're coming with all this stuff. Middle class has been saying it before he was drafted. Not ahead of the game. So don't buy the hype on Colin Cowherd. I like Cowherd in a lot of his comments, but come on now. You can't be selling it now the guy's falling apart. Everybody can see that now. Nobody looks at Cam and say, man, he's a great player. Nobody says that. So it's ridiculous that he missed it for so long. I remember him saying, I don't see him being, and he named a bunch of busts like Jamarcus Russell. I see him as somebody, and then he's talking about RG3. I wouldn't be surprised if RG3 doesn't make it. Now, he's got a lot better chance than Cam, and I wouldn't be betting against him. I'd bet against Cam right now. I wouldn't bet against RG3, but RG3's in the same position. Nobody's ever seen an athlete and a player like him at quarterback, and he's blowing the NFL's mind. But guess what? When they get film on him, they'll figure him out just like Cam. He better evolve, and he better have the right personality to lead that team. But I see him being better off than Cam. But still, I don't love RG3. I always said Andrew Luck. That's the man. And look at him putting 2 touchdowns in the end zone this weekend with the wheels. Getting in there with the wheels, Andrew Luck. A pocket passer who can run, not a runner who can throw. That's the key. Another person, I mentioned this many times, Wilbon. Big money, Michael Wilbon at ESPN. He said Cam Newton would be the Michael Jordan of the NFL. How's that working out for you, Wilbon? Do these guys know anything about sports? I sit at my house and make better calls than they do. Check out my NFL picks. Always get a high percentage right. Check out my videos. Go back and watch my old videos about Cam. You'll see, I see it for the future. I am the sports prophet. This is Middle Class Matt, and I'll see you next time.